Welcome to Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180 for the best in Saturday Talk Radio at 1 o'clock and on 1230 KGEO at 10 o'clock on Saturday for the best in Wednesday Talk Radio on 1410 KERI on Wednesday at 1 o'clock and now on 1100 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Your host is Clay Koerner and I'm Marty Pay. Behind the big board is our producer, Greg Held. Hey, Clay, you missed a great show last week with Hollywood reporter James Hershen talking about the new movie Man of Steel.
I didn't miss it.
You got to hear it.
I listened to it.
Did I sound okay?
You did a nice job.
Did I? Well, thank you.
You're a good host.
Well, I appreciate that. Coming from a man I admire, I appreciate that. And then we had a conversation with my old buddy, Keith Woolridge, founder of Brick.
I heard that, too.
Yeah, Keith.
Boy, Keith, he didn't hold anything back, did he?
Well, you know, it's funny. I think I'd like to do that show again with Keith, except for the whole entire show.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have Keith on. I want to be there next time so I can harass him a little bit.
Well, you and I haven't talked much about this, but when we had Phyllis Schlafly on, I guess, some of the comments she made, I think were taken out of context, and they ended up in a national magazine, and we were written up in the national magazine, the Clay and Marty Show. So
I know. I found that interesting.
Yeah. Did you see the article?
And today we got somebody special on for the 4th of July.
Yes, we actually have two somebody specials. But before we introduce our guests, I want to make a little comment about something. On this July 4th weekend, this week the administration decided to extend the implementation of Obamacare.
No, that's the first of the fireworks. That's the first bomb that idiot dropped.
But they're extending it to 2015. Now, my question is, if this is such a good deal, why wait?
Very simple, because elections are coming up, and they don't want to get screwed in the elections.
Exactly. They didn't want to get creamed in the election in 2014 because they know it's going to cost jobs, so they decided to postpone it for 2015. So just to keep this in mind, I mean, if it sounds like a duck and it walks like a duck, the chances are it's a duck.
It's not Aflac.
It's not Aflac, and I'll tell you what, these guys know it's a calculated move on their part. They don't want to get shellacked in the 2014 elections again, so they decided to put it off till 2015, and it's politics at its absolute worst.
Here's my question for Obama. When does a lie become the truth?
Yeah, exactly.
If you tell it long enough, it becomes truthful.
Yeah. Well, okay, now that you and I have had a little editorial note there.
I hope he's listening so I can get on his where they record everything we say and do.
Well, you're already going to be audited by the IRS.
All of our freedoms are being taken away.
Yeah.
Is another example.
Yep. In the second half of the show, we have country music legend Maeve Neuter coming in the studio. That'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be a great show. But I wanted to start out this July 4th weekend with a man I consider an American hero, our old buddy, Jeremy Staat, founder of the Jeremy Staat Foundation. Jeremy, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Hey, guys. How are you? Good to be back.
Hey, this is the first time we've interviewed you by phone and not in person.
Well, yeah, it's right now. I'm with the low in the economy and with Obamacare being pushed back, it's a great time to get, for me, it's a great time to be back in school and catching up and trying to basically get a head start on, hopefully when this economy turns back around and I'll have a bunch more degrees and stuff to be able to go out there and put together a heck of a resume and get a good paying job.
Yeah. Well, you and I are both in the Marines, so let me ask you, are you going back getting your high school diploma? Is that what it was?
No. It was actually I was trying to regraduate 8th grade, but no, I'm actually getting some good degrees and getting all my certificates in welding, getting the AS and oh heck, I forgot what I'm getting my degree in already. Associates of Science, basically all the welding credentials. I'm also taking CAD classes, which is computer aided drafting.
Wow.
Basically I want to be kind of an engineer, welding, kind of a jack of all trades. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
You've got your degree from Arizona State, right?
Yes, I do, but it's kind of, it's a great degree to have, but I really can't do anything with it. I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy, so I enjoy the skilled arts, the skilled trades where you're out there actually, getting dirty and getting sweaty and putting a little bit of elbow grease on there. It's kind of the Marine Corps thing to get out there and do work, not like the Army where we sit back, what I mean?
Bet. Well, we have a lot of new listeners because we picked up a couple stations since we last had you on. So tell our listeners your story. Tell them about Jeremy.
Well, basically, Jeremy is me. Basically, we're just a Bakersfield native who, was blessed with the ability to be an athlete. And I was a shot put discus hammer guy in high school and junior college, as well as a football player. And I studied well enough and played well enough to earn a full ride to Arizona State University, where I played in the '97 Rose Bowl for a national championship against Ohio State. Also was able to play in the 1997 Sun Bowl. So I actually played in 2 bowl games in the same year. And what's kind of cool about that is people go, well, how did you play in 2 bowl games in the same year? Well, the Rose Bowl was played on January 1st of 1997, and the Sun Bowl was played on December 31st of 1997. So it was actually 2 bowl games, literally a year apart, but in the same year. But while I was there at Arizona State, I met a guy named Pat Tillman. And for those of you listeners that don't know who Pat Tillman is, Pat Tillman was the professional football player with the Arizona Cardinals who turned down a $3.6 million contract to join the Army Rangers and was unfortunately killed in Afghanistan in 2004. It was friendly fire, huge cover-up. But Pat and I were teammates. We were good friends. We also subsequently had the same agent going into the NFL. I was drafted in 1998, second round, 41st pick overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Played 3 seasons with the Steelers, and then signed on with the Seattle Seahawks, the Oakland Raiders, and then finally finished up with the St. Louis Rams, and retired out of the NFL in 2003. And Pat was killed in 2004, and then I decided to join the Marine Corps in 2005 as an infantry machine gunner. Did my 4 years in the Marine Corps with a tour to Iraq. I was stationed in Hadith, Iraq. And then I got out, discharged in September of 2009. Actually, I graduated Arizona State. I actually went back and took online classes, graduated from Arizona State in June of 2009, and then I was discharged from the Marine Corps in September of 2009. And then I came back here to Bakersfield, and I've been doing a lot of outreach programs for veterans and youth. And I started my own foundation, the Jeremy Staat Foundation, and I do a lot of motivational and inspirational speaking for kids, and I bring a lot of awareness to veteran issues like veteran suicide. And some of these issues are so heavy on my heart that I actually rode a bicycle, 3,468 miles across the country from Bakersfield, California. I rode through 16 states, 78 cities. I took part in 176 speaking events in 100 days, and I rode all the way to the Vietnam Memorial Wall, raising awareness about veteran suicide, a more efficient VA system, veteran educational information centers on all college campuses, as well as childhood obesity. And so now I just, the day-to-day operations, I run the foundation, and I'm also in school now. I'm trying to motivate and inspire others.
We're having a conversation with the founder of the Jeremy Staat Foundation, Jeremy Staat.
Jeremy, you used to have a sidekick that would go everywhere with you and do everything with you, Wesley. Whatever happened to Wesley? I haven't seen him around in a long time.
Wesley's at school. I think he's doing his thing. Wesley was a 3-time Purple Heart recipient, also a double amputee, and he's doing his own thing here in Bakersfield. I know he's going to school, but we had a falling out. Unfortunately, things do happen when you do ride across the country on a 100-day trip. You kind of see the real side of people, and unfortunately, with this country, with a lot of the entitlements, a lot of this generation of veterans have a huge entitlement issues as well, and me and him kind of crossed swords and didn't relate, and we've had a huge falling out.
Well, it's not only the veterans that are looking for entitlements. As a matter of fact, I think that's probably a small percentage of who's looking for entitlements.
Well, absolutely. That's the problem with this whole country right now. And going back to the veterans, when it comes to when we call them wounded veterans, we talk about the 2.4 million that have gone to Afghanistan and Iraq. When you're talking about visual wounded veterans, you're only talking about 1% of all those who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And so when you come back home, a lot of these guys, well, I got wounded, so I deserve this, and that. And me going, well, wait a minute, I went over there. I didn't get, fortunately, I didn't get wounded, but, we knew the consequences. We knew the potential hazards of enlisting. We don't really owe you anything. The VA's got to be more efficient. And right now, this generation of veterans, these double amputees, they're making anywhere from, $3,500 to $8,000 a month tax-free, but yet they're getting all these other benefits as far as like free homes, free hunting trips, free fishing trips. They're taking all these, these trips all over the world and all these things. And the guys that are able-bodied going, wait a minute, so I didn't get wounded, so my service isn't as good as theirs. But not only that, but going back to the entitlement process of, like Obamacare. You guys talk about Obamacare. It's so funny. It's almost like they're giving themselves time so they can write laws into Obamacare so that it doesn't affect the politicians. Because that was a real big thing that was going on a few weeks back. It's like, wait a minute. They go, well, all these politicians that signed all this stuff into law, we're going, wait a minute. We can't afford this stuff.
Exactly.
So And so now they're kind of like buying themselves time. But, the entitlements, even with the kids, I do a lot of speaking with kids today, and it's amazing how even the kids, high school, college level, are going, well, I deserve this. Well, why do you deserve this? Well, because I do. And it's like, no, you don't deserve anything. If you want something, you got to go out there and get it. And sometimes it makes me wonder how our country has survived up to this point. How did the Pilgrims do it? How did the World War II veterans come home that were amputees, or the Vietnam veterans that came home that were amputees, that went out and got jobs and made stuff for themselves? They weren't just given things. They weren't just, enabled by just giving them free stuff, or, oh, you don't have to do this because you served a year and a half in the Marine Corps, and you got injured, so we're going to take care of you for the next 60 years. It's crazy.
Jeremy, let's pick up there when we come back, okay? We'll be back. We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.